banned out at the time, that they had to go with the Dazzle for it. Obviously, it wasn't even their last pick, but they've gone with AU playing it. So it's this position 5 Dazzle. It's going to be a very, very selfless build that he's going with here. And it kind of goes against the way that Dazzle was built in the past. You know, you needed to get him those first key few items. You went a Midas on him, you went the Guardian Greaves, other sorts of items. Yeah, Necro Book, lots of short cooldown stuff, just so that you could continue to take advantage of the cooldown reduction coming from the bad Juju. But
anything becomes short cooldown with
absolutely.
Juju.
But a little bit different this time around, and we'll have to see what he chooses to go. Maybe just something like, I don't know, a medallion to further increase the burst potential, and then just pure survivability items after that. A couple of braces, maybe.
I quite like I think this is quite a good Weaver game. I think it was, we were talking about on the panel a little bit as well, Weaver plus Medusa. This is the kind of Medusa game that I really like to see, where your entire lineup is pretty much built around the Medusa. Like they've got Venge to move her around, provide the auras, provide the minus armor, got the swap. They're going to have a bunch of aura items from the Darkseer, and then you've also got the Weaver to potentially just throw out the Swarm. Could even build like a Solar Crest, and you could also be looking at like, you know, an Aghanim Scepter later on in the game just to keep the Medusa alive even further and make her a completely unkillable monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gabby gonna take some hits here. Does have the Blink skilled up to jump away, but sucks for him to have to skill the Blink at level 1 instead of being able to get into the Mana Break and pressure the Darkseer. So the call for Navi is that they want to kind of have the full tri-lane up here.
Sounds like it, and it does put a little bit of pressure onto AU as well, right? Like now he's really gonna have to be high impact.
Go forward. Quite a bit of damage, but it is just the Wave of Terror skilled up so far. Gabby dragging the wave around a little bit. Not sure where exactly he's heading, just blinks back under the tower.
Just messing with the equilibrium a little bit, and we see Misha now rotating down towards this bot lane. Crystallize getting gone on a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, not a ton that the Venge can necessarily do down here. The Weaver pretty good against the Bat, but he's been stacked up a lot and still needs to wait for the Shikuchi cooldown. Finally gets it back up now. Looks like this will finally be his opportunity to get the sticky napalm off of him. AU and Chu trading punches back behind the tower.
Just being a bit of a nuisance. I think he's being very mindful of Blizzy. He knocked off his clarity really early on in that laning phase. He's only got the one left, so he will probably have to suicide if he does go down again, or it'll be a long time until that career is available for him.
I like the way that he's playing with the Shadow Wave first. Really slowing down the wave cutting and pretty big nuisance. Darkseer has to sit in the middle, so...
Gabby's pulled the wave through.
Crystallize has a lot of stacks on him at bottom. This Flame Break is actually doing a ton of damage. I don't think it's quite enough to kill him. Duration not quite enough.
8 stacks though. Oof.
Yeah,
that's rough.
That is really nasty. And he's got 3 CS, but this is not looking too fantastic, at least so far. I think once he gets some more levels, they're going to get some kill potential on the Bat. They've especially got the level 2 now up on the Vengeful Spirit, but so far Cuckoo doing quite nicely at bottom, though his CS also pretty middling, just 2 CS so far. Roll forward onto AU up top. Ion Shell's burning him down a little bit, and it looks like Chu is thinking about diving for this one. Wants the kill, but the Fairy Fire was there, so not going to pursue too much further.
Yeah. And he's doing exactly what he needs to, right? Creating space for this Anti-Mage, getting a little bit more. He's cut away way through the creeps and to the tree so that he can just farm underneath the tower very safely.
Cuckoo, yeah, battling up against Misha. 5 stacks. The Crystallize is going to come in here and look for this kill. And the Firefly is just barely enough. Couldn't quite get out of it in time. But still, it's a first blood for Crystallize. So great trade. Navi going to be very happy with that. And the Vengeful Spirit can even just bring some items to the Weaver here. Going to bring down a couple of Wraith Bands. So that was a very nice play by the Venge.
Absolutely. Knowing the extent of the trade, you don't really mind dying at that point, right? Not giving away any sort of experience. Yeah, you get a little bit on the Bat Rider, but you know, definitely not as much as that first blood would give. And just looking towards the mid lane as well, it's looking like very much favored towards Armel, as would be expected, but still, let's see how he looks to take advantage of it later on. You know, Magical plays a lot of Razor himself, so we'll know what to expect.
Do you think there's any consideration this game for the Navi supports to spend time stacking for the Dusa or the Darkseer, or do you think they're going to play a little bit more actively than that?
I think with the Venge you can a little bit, because Darkseer, you know, he's going to be in that top lane, so you don't need to be worrying about that. Weaver, once he gets those first little bit of passive regen, it doesn't look like he's getting it right now. He's going straight into the power treads, but if you were to get some sort of, you know, just bottle or something like that on Crystallize, then potentially you can leave him a bit more alone and focus a lot more attention onto making sure Magical has that great game.
I have to say, I love the way that the Dazzle is actually dealing with this wave cutting strat. There's these huge creep waves chasing around Blizzy, and they're losing a lot of HP. I don't think they're pressuring the anti-mage in nearly the way that they were expecting to in this top lane. And Gabby's finding amazing farm. He's about to get his Ring of Health delivered, 32 CS. He's far ahead of anybody else this game.
Yep. And they're prepared for a late game. He's going the Battle Fury. He's got it queued up already. He's got the Ring of Health. Yeah, he can transition that into a Vanguard if he needed to, but I don't think they're in any position to put some pressure onto Gabby at this point.
Yeah. Anti-Mage is just not... He's a completely different hero without Battle Fury.
Yeah.
I think it's... and in this game, he's the one that's going to be winning them the game. And you last pick Anti-Mage, you're last picking it for the... pretty much your standard build. Battle Fury, Manta... some people go Scotty after that point. We sometimes see Basher Abyssal a little bit more standard, I would say.
I think definitely for this game that would be the build, just because of what you need to lock
out
down.
as well. Yeah, you need to prevent the time lapse, need to prevent Darkseer just running away. So.
Even just the Stone Gaze, being able to burst Tusa down.
Battle for the 5-minute bounty runes coming up here. Cuckoo wants it, does get stunned, and Misha actually snipes it out from underneath, and this is a lot of Minus armor as well with the Swarm. Cuckoo just running for the Shrine, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough to keep him alive. Crystallize has the Gemini attack back off cooldown in a second, and up top, more action as AU does get driven underneath the tower, but pops the salve, and will end up being okay. And overall bounty rune situation, very good for NaVi. Looks like they got 3 of the 4.
Yeah, 3 of the 4. Bit of a reversal of fortune from the last one. TNC getting 3 of the 0-minute bounties, but obviously worth a little bit more. But filling up the bottle, nicely done.
So both offlaners doing okay. So what is the build so far? Just a couple of Wraith Bands, nothing too shocking.
Yep. Some aggression maybe on Chu.
Thinking about it.
Yeah. He's cracked up the Iron Shell.
Starkster just doesn't have the mana. He doesn't have his Soul Ring, doesn't have his Arcane Boots just yet. I really feel like this Dazzle has slowed him down so much just by constantly healing the wave. Looks like he might finally be dead here. Does get rolled on top of Fairy Fire, not going to be enough to save him. That level 2 Iron Shell is enough to burn him down.
They were a little bit in danger on NaVi as well. If it was like another couple of seconds that would have taken, he had the full creep wave there, so that Shadow Wave would have done a lot of damage.
Yep. And you got Gabby over here with Mana Void ready to rock and roll. So Lizzie doesn't have the biggest mana pool just yet. Still needs that int growth to really kick in. But another stun at Tim's down at bottom. He's going to be brought down. Crystallize finding some great kills at bottom. Over at mid, Magical is getting gone on. Knocked back by the Flame Break. Getting run down. There will be an attempted TP from Misha, but he's just straight into the fire from Cuckoo, and that is 2 quick kills. Over at top, still more action. AU kiting around. Gets out of range of the Iron Shell for a second. They do have Gabby now coming over with the Mana Void ready to rock and roll. I think that might be the end of Blizzy. Gabby's still waiting for it. Cuckoo gets in range for some experience and some gold. And that's a quick kill for AM.
Just sharing the love a little bit.
Sure. No reason not to. I mean, Battle Fury timing is going to be amazing for Gabby this game. He's having a completely free game, pretty much.
I mean, we talk about the stacking that they were wanting to maybe do for Magical in that mid lane, but the only stacking that's happened is for here in Cuckoo in the top jungle. Now he's left the lane a little bit, given Shaker a bit more time to get some experience for himself, maybe an odd last hit or 2, and just accelerating his farm even more. He's hit that level 6 on the Bat Rider.
Is this another Boots of Travel first game for you? Or it seems like that's the preferred build for Cuckoo.
Yeah.
The 2 games that we've seen him in this tournament as the Bat Rider, he has gone for the BOT first. I'm just wondering if you think he might opt for anything different this time around.
I think the way that Cuckoo builds it, and I really like it, is he just wants to be as high value as possible. So we can see he's already picked up the Windlace, for example. He's picked up the Magic Wand, very low-cost items that do a lot of big impact, particularly for someone like a Bat Rider.
And it helps him stay on the map as well, right? The way that he's been building. He's useful beyond just having the lasso. I think that's what I really feel about the build. Ooh, Tim's in some trouble here, does get intercepted by Misha. I don't know quite why he was rotating over to mid. Maybe they were thinking of setting up some kind of a kill. Nice stick charge usage is actually going to get him up onto the high ground then. He's A-okay. Crystallize forced into the time lapse at bottom. Cuckoo now needs to be a little bit careful, trying to deal with this swarm bug while also retreating back and looking like he might be pretty dead. A bit more chase, Firefly runs out, and Misha will happily secure that kill for himself.
Yep. Nicely done by Misha. Good rotation. I think Weaver would have probably been able to secure it regardless, but forces out the time lapse, not the longest cooldown.
Oh, bit of action. All right. Tim sitting over here just trying to get some D wards. Looks like he's accepted his fate. Magical even denying the sentry for whatever reason. And that is going to be the end of Tim's there. Do have Blizzy once again getting run down over at top, and Armel rotating over with an Arcane Rune. Quickly finds that kill. This Darkseer is having a miserable time in this game.
It's very much the story. It seems like regardless of what TNC do, someone on NaVi is having a bad game, one of the cores. You know, last game it was Magical on his Razor, this game it's the Darkseer.
I worry because NaVi, it seems like it's only Crystallize who can make plays, and they are doing just that over at mid, kicking back Armel. Crystallize coming in with the auto attack damage, but he's already been linked up, and AU is here, providing a little bit of extra HP. Cuckoo also arriving, and Chu is just in no man's land. He gets brought down, and TNC, very nice response to that rotation. I was just saying that Crystallize is the only person on his team that it really feels like can make plays, but that makes it kind of obvious.
And straight away they go into the smoke. The Crystallize will probably pop it, maybe just out of range, but Misha might be in a little bit of trouble.
These bouncer runes, but Crystallize has plenty of mana, has got the 21 charges in reserve. Cuckoo still just waiting for the Firefly to come back off cooldown. 1 second, gets up onto the high ground. Nice Fissure as well. Opens up a little bit of space, and Cuckoo actually thinking about going in further. Needs to be careful. Up onto the high ground, finally pops the salve. Cuckoo is juking for dear life. Salve finally getting canceled, and Chu rotates in at the last moment, catches him with the stun, and he will finally be brought down.
Yeah. So not having his typical, you know, Cuckoo massive impact game, but
yeah,
I think he realizes, like, you know, that's not your place this game, right? Gabby's having a fantastic game. It's just about creating more and more space for him. He's, what, 1,100 gold from picking up a Battle Fury, and it's 10.5 minutes? Not bad at all.
This is a really nice timing. And Blizzy just getting pressured out. Pops down the wall instantly just to be a little bit of a nuisance to Gabby, but I think he'll be okay. Dusa, build-wise, still haven't really seen anything from her. Still very much just picking up farming items. Hasn't grabbed the Stone Gaze just yet. Max farm build. Probably get that last point in the split shot in a second, and then just start making her way through the jungle. I don't know. TNC have opted to block a couple of camps, it looks like here. They've come in here, blocked the medium camp, and they've got some vision over that shrine area. So they're already thinking one step ahead. Okay, the Deuce is going to be farming the jungle. We're going to go and gank the Dusa where she's farming.
Yep, and even if that gets farmed...
they're going for Gabby up top. They get the stun into the follow-up. Do they have enough lockdown to kill him off? Just gets the blink away. Not quite enough damage. One more level on either of these two supports. Chu is a fraction away from level 5. And if he had had just that little bit of extra damage on Boulder Smash, that would have been a kill. But very unfortunate. Or even Blizzy, level 7. One more point in Ion Shell would have been 100% kill. But the poor lane's coming back to bite Navi a bit here.
Absolutely, that is dangerous. And you can see Magical, he's forced to play all the way back here behind his tier 1 tower. He's actually rotating through to see, not just to stack his ancient camp, but Cuckoo actually took the two, you know, safe and medium camps there.
Yeah. All right, oh, they've got the sentry up in the high ground actually, so they see Cuckoo wandering around invis. Not going to be going for the BOTs here, is just heading for drums first.
Yeah.
So a slightly more cost-effective item.
And they've got the Atos on the Razor, so that is one way of definitely, you know, locking down this Darkseer if he tries to get away, and the Weaver especially.
Yeah, definitely going to be important, especially since nobody else is really doing that well in terms of picking up an initiation item, right? Batrider's not going for Blink. Tim's has been having a pretty rough start, still even working on his Soul Ring, so Blink is quite a ways away for him.
Yep.
And Gabby's still just farming. Did get slowed down a little bit by that earlier pressure, but like we said, still looking like it should be a good Battle Fury timing. And they go in, and once again, they are going to try for it, roll forward. This time around, they've got the Anti-Mage Illusion, and I think that's going to make all the difference. That will be a quick kill for Chu, and Magical just throwing out the tip.
He lets him know.
That's a coordinated gank.
Yeah. Absolutely, but it needed to happen, right? Like, they was just getting way too far ahead. If he picked up that Battle Fury, it just means that he can rotate even more into the jungle. It creates more space for that Dazzle, that Earthshaker, to get a bit more farm, because right now, they're lacking a little bit. You know, Tim's doesn't have too much. He's got the Tranquil Boots, he's got a wand, but that's about it.
Yep, and Crystallize just doing a good job of keeping this bottom lane pushed out, not creating any kind of opportunity for TNC to just walk down here and take the tower for free. And NaVi even thinking one step ahead. Look at these amazing wards that they've already planted, or managed to plant, over in the Dire jungle. They are thinking 100% about pressuring the Anti-Mage non-stop. Even once he gets the Battle Fury online, they're still ready to try and hunt him and grab some kills.
Yep. Looks like he's going to go into the Yasha after that, but nicely done by Blizzy in that top lane, taking down the first tower of the game, actually, so...
Did finally get his Dominator. Took him a little while, but Does have it online. Crystallize in position at bottom, doesn't quite have the Diffusal Blade just yet. They're thinking about setting something up. Chu ready with an Ion Shell in the trees, but they see that AU is just behind him, so always going to be a dangerous initiation if they can't get the Dazzle. Fisher also there to help out Armel, so he's feeling pretty safe in this situation, knowing that his two supports have his back.
Yeah, absolutely. We hear the Eye of the Storm get popped. That's just to farm a few neutrals. Will they look to transition further forward? You know, you've got a lot of heroes clustering around this bot side. Anti-Mage and Darkseer, I suppose, are both happy with
the Misha, along with the Root. Looks like he's going to be brought down here. They are coming in with Crystallize, throwing out the Swarm. Tim's in some danger, but he does have the Echo Slam available, graving him up. I don't know if they quite have the damage. This Chu rolling forward because he really wants this kill, but it's straight into the waiting arms of Cuckoo. They will finally bring down the Earthshaker. It's a 1-for-1 trade. I guess Chu got quite a lot of gold for that, so maybe worth it.
It's okay. I mean, the Earthshaker was just able to survive because of the shallow grave, but actually even missed the first tick of the Magnetize. Had to drop an extra Stone Remnant for it, but it's not too bad. But
they kind of cleared the wave a little bit as well. Yep, made this push on bottom a bit more difficult, though. Bounty Runes, looks like it is just going to be a 2-2 split. Blizzy grabbing 2 up top, and TNC grabbing 2 down on the bottom side as Gabby has actually rotated away from his own jungle and is now primarily playing the Tri-Camp. They would love to take that bottom tier 1 tower and open up the Radiant jungle for him.
That is a fat stack that he's able to farm right now. Probably slowly, just it needs to be very, very careful about getting rooted up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, looks like Tim's coming in, helping out a little bit, wants a bit of this experience. They really, really want this bottom tier 1 tower, but it doesn't seem like NaVi are too interested in really contesting them for it. It's not fast, but they are going to get it with this catapult event.
Gets the job done eventually.
All right, well, we're just in kind of mode farm for both teams.
In a bit of trouble up top here.
Yeah, looking for the roll, not going to find it. They do get the Centaur Stomp out. Silence as well. Wall drop down. Still pretty tanky, though. Has that Bracer, gets the lasso out as Armel arrives on the scene. Chu will finally drop. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Elsewhere on the map, AU going down, but it's Blizzy getting chased down in the trees, and Tim will secure that with the Fisher. More heroes also on the way in. Crystallize interested in another go with the Diffusal Blade. I don't know if he's going to go for Armel or Tim's to do swap back onto the Razor. They've also got the stun. Tim trying to run forward. He's got the chain stun. Can they actually bring down the Weaver? Crystallize finally popping, but now the Fisher stun. Armel survives. Tim's with the plays. Oh my god. Should have gone for the Earthshaker instead of the Razor potentially, but quick kill. Was the swap the right call?
I don't know about it, honestly.
I really don't know.
You know, just having the confidence of Tim to say, right, let's man fight. You know, he didn't get off too big of a static link, right? Like, I don't think he'd used it at all in that team fight. So just being able to say, right, I'm ahead of you. I've got the Rod of Atos. I can have the real control in this team fight. And you know, even with the time lapse, wasn't enough to be able to survive.
The damage coming out from TNC was actually crazy. I guess the Weaver was sitting right on top of him, so he was getting hit by the unstable current. I think there was a bit of a plasma field thrown in there as well. That was nasty.
Yeah,
that is a huge turnaround for, well, not even a turnaround, but that's a huge win for TNC getting those 2 kills.
Absolutely. If we have a look at the hero levels, it's Crystallized on his Weaver that's about 4 behind this Gabby anti-mage. So having to be a little bit careful moving forward, has that slightly longer.
Looking forward on TNC. Looking for Blizzy here, but there is Crystallized coming in, backstabbing. We'll be looking for AU. Tim's also approaching. Can they keep AU alive? Throws out one more heal, doesn't manage to get the Grave out in time. Armel will be the next one targeted, and looks like Tim's just going to leave him for dead. Too many NaVi heroes in this top lane, and they will just auto-attack him down. Quick double for Crystallized as he gets a bit of his own back. Okay, so Anti-Mage just farming his Manta. Deuce, we haven't really seen much of her. Magical just going for a S&Y here. So we do get a silence onto the Anti-Mage. Stun following it up. Gabby takes quite a lot of damage. She'll be okay, but it goes to show that AM is still quite vulnerable at this stage of the game.
Yeah, pretty squishy. It was waiting for the regen rune in bot lane. It spawned at top. It's just the way things are. Unless you're S4, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, NaVi continuing to play very aggressively over in this dire jungle, and once again, it's AU caught out and just gets chunked. Mana burn way too much from this Weaver.
Yeah, and that kill brings him up a couple of levels, now level 13, catching
He's got that XP gain talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
His game is I think his game is quite secure. at this stage is going to have quite a bit of impact.
I'm really liking the way that Gabby's playing this low. Like, even though the enemy team can see him and he is in danger of dying, I think it's what he needs to do. He's taking a lot away from what the Medusa is able to farm.
Blizzy, all right, surging away, but they are actually rolling in onto Tims. He was trying to join the rest of his team, but he gets separated, and NaVi just controlling this space perfectly. They are going onto the Darks here. Armel doing decent damage, doesn't quite get vacuumed up onto the high ground. Just going to try for the TP out. Misha doesn't have anything left to interrupt it, but Chu, with the roll forward, will be the one to cancel the TP. And Crystallize finds yet another double kill. Mega kill streak now up for him as Gabby is stealing creeps from underneath Magical's nose.
Yeah, he's just going back and forth, and they're giving him not the freedom to do it because, you know, their team is dying when he does it, but it's clear that they're saying, right, Gabby, you're putting us on your back. You need to make sure that you're the one that, you know, comes out on top late game. Lots of faith being put into him, and why not? He's probably one of the highest individual skill players in the whole SEA region.
Yeah. So he's got the Manta now. Do you think Gabby, with this item, starts making any kind of plays with his team, or is he still waiting on the other items that he's got in his quick buy, which is the Basher and the BKB, before he does anything?
I think now the Weaver is getting farmed enough. Like, he's getting very, very close to that Lincoln's as well. So you need a bit more items to actually lock him down and be that big presence in the team fights. I think he needs his team to delay it just for, I don't know, 5 or so minutes more.
Maybe once they get the Blink Dagger on the Batrider, then we can see that play that Kyle was talking about with Batrider pressuring lanes, Anti-Mage pressuring lanes, and any lasso with the Manta just being a super quick pick-off.
Yep.
Right now, pretty close by the metrics, less than a 1K net worth lead. Relatively close on the odds, I would say. Do you think it was fair coming into this series? Were you favoring TNC?
Yeah, I really like the way that they finished off the draft with that Anti-Mage, and at this point I think they're doing exactly what they need to. You know, not winning on the kills score so far, but at 1K net worth lead they pick up another tower, opening up so much more of the map. And now they're going to be looking to push towards this top side. Cuckoo just sitting in the jungle on the left, wanting to maybe find a pick-off, but 5 seconds until that Firefly is back online.
And that must have been concerning, right? The map still had 2 tier 1 towers on it for NaVi. That was a lot of space for the Dusa to be farming, and room that the Batrider and the Anti-Mage can't really use to farm and to also pressure these lanes the way that they want to.
Is he cutting this wave? I think he is, just keeping that constant pressure up so that, you know, they can farm around other areas of the map.
Did he even completely clear it?
No.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Leaving it for AM or a mistake?
Maybe.
Probably a mistake.
Watch. If you're super spiteful at NaVi, you go and deny every one of those creeps. But True, what do you got? Give me one at least. No, okay. He's not interested. But
it's a shame though. It would have got him his Blink Dagger.
Yeah. We're slowing down a little bit, but yeah, the blink on Cuckoo definitely very important.
We say slow. It's 21 minutes and there's 29 kills. It's
well, look, the game was over in game 1 at this stage. It is worth reminding everybody that this is game number 2. Whoever wins this secures themselves an upper bracket berth here at ESL 1 Mumbai, and the loser is unfortunately heading down to the lower bracket.
I believe the winner plays against Keen as well, so gives them a bit to prepare against.
Yeah. And I guess what is the loser playing against Signify?
Yes.
Because they're bottom of Group B at the end. Yeah. So quite a lot on the line. TNC going for a little bit of a smoke, probably eager to make use of that Batrider blink. Cuckoo, what can he find though? They're not really smoking to a ton of vision. Most of their wards are actually over on their side of the map. So probably trying to establish a couple of wards as they also look for this kill. Cuckoo smoke is going to end up breaking. And it's just Crystallized Shikuchiing through. They don't really find too much. This is a big timing though. 10-second BKB, and they've also got the Blink Dagger online.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking to pressure it as much as they can, although Tim's actually rotating down south. So dodging a little bit through, what's he got on the quick buy for himself? Going into the Yules, so just wanting to survive, I think. He's being conscious of the fact that Crystallize has gotten on top of him, has been able to use that swarm and just quickly burst him down.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing that you can really do about it.
Yeah.
This is such a good Weaver game. To be honest, it's really causing TNC a lot of problems. Maybe the Abyssal Blade on the Anti-Mage or something a little bit further down the line is going to help. But
yeah, it's down the line though, right? As the guys on the panel were saying, I think it kind of is this roller coaster of, you know, who's in the strongest point of the game. You know, before the Lincoln Sphere came online, maybe it was a bit more of the case of the Dire side, the TNC. He's getting very, very close to picking it up. I think it might actually be here on the courier just now, yeah.
NaVi with a butterfly on this Medusa, just going to go and walk into the Roshan pit. They're throwing out the challenge to TNC. They are decent at fighting around the Roshan pit area, but both teams smoking up. Can we get a good blink initiation? They're coming in. Armel trying to scout things out with the plasma field. Doesn't really find too much. Tim's running forward. We'll be looking for the Echo, but the Age is already picked up, and I think that means TNC just want to disengage at this point. They don't have the man to use just yet for the anti-mage. Stands his ground. Gabby right-clicks him down. Magnetized spread around a little bit. Cuckoo slowed down inside of the river, takes flight, and will be just fine to flap himself out of there. Both teams poking, prodding, looking for the initiation. They go for the lasso on the Dusa. They couldn't quite get the swap. Misha was looking for it, but he's only level 11. Now gets it back to the team. Magical gets some more mana, as we do also have a buyback from Chu. And TNC, very wisely, immediately disengage and go straight back to shoving out the lanes.
Yeah, wisely doing that. Picking up the DD as well onto the Medusa. So looks like they are happy to farm, but I don't know. I feel like the wise move is you've got the Aegis. You've got the double damage. You know the lasso's off cooldown, you know?
Yeah.
Force it forward. Even Eye of the Storm was committed in that previous encounter, so that was down for another... Well, it would have been down for the time needed to be able to kill them, so you know, just playing a little bit cautious, maybe a little bit scared, because TNC, they're a very strong team, right?
I wonder if one of their earlier series against Team is kind of still haunting them a little bit here, because there was that one game where they were ahead and they had that Hex and they went to the tier 2 mid to try and force it, and it felt like that was the point where they lost the game.
Yeah.
And I think NaVi are telling themselves that they have the better late game here, so no real reason to force it too badly. Tim's getting gone on. Once again, the Swarm is so annoying. There's so much minus armor. Crystallize is absolutely going to tear him to pieces. AU is just teleporting himself out.
Yep.
Not even going to bother trying for a grave or anything. There was always going to be a swap to interrupt it.
I think the difference is this game compared to that game against Team is they've itemized a lot better and they've played around their timings a lot better. You know, this Weaver, always going to be a nuisance with the Diffusal Blade, and just as he picked up the Lincoln Sphere, they're like, right, we need to go to Roche. We need to have it right now, so that even if there was an initiation, if TNC chooses to go in, you know, blindly into that Roche pit, they have a way to survive. You're not going to get instantly burst down. It was the first reveal of the Lincoln Sphere.
Yep.
So you have that element of surprise.
All right, well, TNC, they do have another way to deal with that Lincoln, as they get the Force Staff picked up on the bat, though you don't always want to be using your Force Staff to pop a Lincoln's to be able to get the lasso, since I think you'd rather have it to drag the hero back to your team. Might be necessary in this situation, and NaVi, so you were saying that they could have immediately gone and taken that tier 2. Instead, they just go and get a pick off, and now they are sauntering towards the bottom tier 2 as well after taking out mid. Gabby is furiously split pushing. I don't imagine that TNC want to fight this Aegis, but they do have 4 heroes in position at bottom, and they do have a 10-second BKB available on the anti-mage, so good BKB timings that they could potentially fight around. TNC's still thinking about it.
Yep.
And they've got good vision here as well.
They do. Just the slow siege, though.
Yeah.
Wanting to use magical as that meat shield, I suppose you could call it.
All right. So, okay, having seen the game so far, do you think that that 50-minute mark is kind of still the... Is that where everything falls apart for TNC, where they just have no hope at that stage? Or is it even sooner at the rate that this Medusa is farming?
It might be a bit sooner, but just the time that the first Roshan was taken, it was, what, 25, 26 minutes?
Yeah.
It just means that the third Roshan's not going to come until probably around that, what, 45-minute mark? So you just need to be mindful of that as well. So I think maybe 45 minutes as opposed to 50 could be the time that it takes to break through.
See, thinking about something here, but Cuckoo just clearing the wave. Does get slowed down a little bit. Force Staff blade further forward. Silence onto him. AU in a good position to help him out. Going to help deal with the Swarm, but Chu instead just redirects, looking for a different target. They are going on to the Darkseer. Loses quite a lot of mana on Blizzy, but he's going to be okay. And now Armel trying to commit, but the immediate swap from Misha breaks that link. Armel, a little bit of damage. Chu coming forward with the Magnetize. They've also dropped the wall on the high ground. Gabby getting kited around a little bit, and he walks straight into the Stone Gate and just gets punched to death. Absolutely nothing done. Armel's also pretty low. NaVi gonna chase for more as they land the slow from Chu, and they get a double kill on this Medusa. TNC losing both of their big cores in an absolutely disastrous team fight.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little confused at the start of that fight, right? Like, NaVi were really split up, and so TNC had the ability to get, you know, maybe a pick off, but again, that really great positioning coming from Misha, immediately cancelling the static link was so huge. And then, you know, you just have to call a spade a spade. It was a misplay getting caught out by that Stone Gaze on the anti-mage.
Yeah. And it's such a weird time to take a fight because Aegis is just about to be reclaimed. Look at this, 13 seconds to go. So I think if they really wanted to do something, then could have maybe waited it out. There is a 10-second BKB up now on Magical, so he's not as concerned about the anti-mage mana burn at the very least. I really like this build actually that he's gone for. We used to see people against AM going for like the Mask of Madness butterfly BKB. I think the SNY is fulfilling a very similar role here, and Mask of Madness is just not an item really at the moment.
I mean, the static resistance can't be discounted at all. And another important factor of that previous fight is that just prior to getting caught with that Stone Gaze, it was the BKB being popped by Gabby. So now he's got a 9-second BKB on this anti-mage, and just means that they have to be a little more careful about taking that next big fight.
That 10-second BKB not winning you a fight is terrifying, right? Because that's
instantly losing you.
That's supposed to be a power spike for the anti-mage, and instead they just get whomped. So NaVi's still playing it careful. They want that upper bracket spot. They want to force it to a game 3. They don't even completely finish off the Shrine, respecting the fact that, you know, could be a big play from TNC at some point. But as I say that, NaVi go for this smoke.
It's a bit of a fake back, maybe a little bit premature because they've got the Chrysalis built and it's on the courier coming out to them now, but just wanting to push that advantage, maybe catch someone out that's going for this bounty rune. But
yeah, is that also the MKB fully completed for the Weaver?
Yep, that's right.
So Crystallize is going to hit so hard, especially if he gets all of his procs lined up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to hurt a lot. And NaVi just taking control over this Shrine area.
Yep.
Looks like they're going to
finish the Shrine, I think.
It's a good place to establish yourself as well, right? You can push bottom, but then also simultaneously you can just be cutting the waves constantly at mid and really preventing the anti-mage split push from doing too much. So I imagine Gabby's going to do a similar thing, probably non-stop cut waves at mid. And try and pressure top at the same time.
As we mentioned, top, it is being pushed forward a little bit. Cuckoo trying to get rid of the creep wave quite quickly, get some damage onto this tier 2 tower, perhaps force back one or more of the heroes on NaVi.
All right, well, NaVi are just heading up onto the high ground. Gabby's chasing couriers at bottom, and Magical's already hitting their melee barracks. Armel wants to run in, but a very different game from what we saw previously. Not really able to commit too hard. He has to actively be afraid of the Medusa. She does a lot of damage. He wants the static link, but look at this. It just immediately gets broken. Magical runs back up onto the high ground, still going for it. Cuckoo, the Lincoln's actually getting popped onto Magical, keeping him alive. Very nicely done by Crystallize, and this is how you want to see a Medusa line. Everybody is just 100% here to protect her. They've got the Alpha Wolf, they've got the Swap, they've got Crystallize with the Lincoln Sphere, and it feels like the Medusa's completely untouchable.
Yeah, she's the raid boss.
Yep.
And, you know, just quickly clearing out the waves, constantly continuing the pressure. No creeps in the base just yet.
All right, they're really hoping for this. Actually, they get, once again, the Lincoln Sphere does block the static link, it looks like. Over top lane, Gabby, all right, jumps in now with the BKB. They're looking towards Magical, but he gets his own BKB off, so it's just the BKB for BKB trade, and Gabby's taking way too much physical damage. They need to get backdoor protection back off here. So NaVi might still be able to finish the melee barracks. They just hit way too hard. Swap in onto Cuckoo. He's sitting just on the edge of the base, so does manage to force staff back in, but NaVi don't even want the fight. They just want to go and get the lanes back. They got the 2 lanes of racks that they were looking for, and at this point, it's really looking like it's NaVi's game to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in that team fight, getting the Darkseer wall down, Animage was one of the heroes getting caught by it, and using that, able to hit through the backdoor protection and take down that melee racks. I think a little bit of that was actually on Tim's being a little bit hesitant. You know, he wasn't there with the Echo Slam when needed. There were 4 heroes that were, you know, grouped up fairly closely in a position. Might not have been the Medusa, but it was everyone else. And because of that hesitation, the Earth Spirit was able to roll forward, get a lot of the harass onto him, get the earn ticks onto him, so that that Blink Dagger was not a factor in that team fight.
All right, we have Abyssal Blade on the Anti-Mage now. So do you think that this changes things significantly? I think this Vengeful Spirit pick has just looked so good this game because the defensive swaps are amazing against TNC's lineup. They're quite single target focused when it really comes down to it, right? They want to jump in, pop one person with the lasso or drain one person with the static link, and this Vengeful Spirit is really denying that at every turn. Crystallize immediately is getting at the smoke, is going to get jumped on here, but they don't manage to lock him down. Vacuum. Gabby pops the BKB, so too does Armel, but Magical's just around the corner, and these auto attacks are doing so much damage. Armel forced to turn tail and run. He gets auto attacked down on the other side of the fight. Gabby's just going for Chu, doesn't even manage to kill him with the Mana Void, and Chu now rolling back onto him. Gabby looks like he will finally finish off that kill as TNC throw in 2 core buybacks, 3 buybacks now. Navi just taking a moment to regroup. Magical still pretty good on the mana. They're going to have to kite this Medusa around, but not so easy in the case of Crystallize. He finds Tims inside of the trees. Armel trying to drain out Magical, but once again they have the swap. Tims finds himself a nice echo, but there's no follow-up stuns, and Magical's just standing there, auto-attacking everybody. No problem whatsoever. Crystallize godlike, the first game of Weaver that we've seen this event. And it is a hell of a game. TNC left completely in shambles. They've got 3 heroes alive. Anti-Midge dead for 80 seconds. He bought up earlier to get that Abyssal Blade, which didn't end up doing anything.
Yeah.
Now Navi looking for me.
This game's over. I would have called it by now,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah, and there it is. The GG gets called. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that they weren't even able to commit fully to that team fight afterwards as well, right? Because they'd all bought out. They died twice in that team fight. It was